his lane against the Rumble, who has gone first strike, as you'd expect.
Yep, first strike, going to be able to farm up a lot of gold.
30 seconds.
In the mid lane, this is a matchup we have seen in the PCS quite a lot. It tends to be that the Zeri does fairly well in the lane phase, and as the game progresses, similar to every Corki lane, really, you get that poke online, and you just become so strong in those team fights. But, you know, Zeri definitely has play for herself. Harry going for the teleport. Kriskata would be going barrier.
Yeah, this mid-game spike for the Frank comp is completely ridiculous. If they can get 2 items online on their ADCs, this Rumble is going to be super accelerated with first strike. Plenty of engage in the Maokai Rel, or at least control around these objectives in the Baron, Rift Herald, Dragons.
Oh, nice. Already more synergy. I already saw in game number 1, Jimmy threw up one of those fist bumps and no one responded, but that time we got a 3-way fist bump.
Actually, a ward killed by Harry, so he's going to get level 2 a little quicker. Going to get the E online on the Zeri, so he can dash out of these phosphorus bombs, which is the idea of the Lucian and Zeri into the Corki.
This might be the first time we actually see the Frank bot lane with a winning start to the game.
Yeah. Ezreal pretty strong at level 1, so should be priority for Frank.
Ooh, -1.
So if you're Wako and Kaiwing...
Oh, that's not how we trade bot.
Yeah, that is a terrible trade for Wako.
Yeah, Violet. I mean, very good player. It was game 3 as well for him. Last time these two teams went up against each other, he was on the Kai'Sa and he had a stellar performance. Just a completely flawless, really, out of him. So looking to do it again. It was against Wako's Ezreal, but level 2 now. And this is very dangerous. Wako may be able to find play on it to Aladoric, and one more auto attack would do it, but the flash away means that Aladoric will survive, and Violet finding a lot of damage back here onto this Ezreal.
Yeah.
Not quite able to pop that passive.
Aladoric just reads his flash for so long, almost does get away without flashing, but well played by Wako, stacks up his Conqueror and forces the flash away from this Leona. Makes them vulnerable to a dive, but Maokai is pretty far away, though they can maybe delay this wave crashing on the side of Frank. For their Maokai to get down here, Kevi is nowhere near bot lane.
Yeah, going up to that top side here is Kevi on the Diana. But as you said, I mean, Gemini, Maokai, a champion that is quite good at looking for these dives, can drop aggro with that twisted advance.
Yeah, he's on the Krugs now. I don't think he's going to get here bot in time. Top lane going about how you'd expect it to go.
Yeah, Biopanther seemingly pretty far up on the wave after a likely rebound, but Zhang, he's finding the most damage. Biopanther now looking for that recall.
Yeah, big wave coming his way. The Zhang should be safe from the ganks. Pretty good setup on the Ornn, but Diana is so terrible at ganking 3-6 that you have to assume he's okay.
We're looking for the dive. Yeah. Gemini, he's been so good at this, or maybe we're just looking for vision. We're going to be able to see that Wolf Camp's coming up. He pings it, so they are going to know that Kevi, after getting this recall, will be headed back out to the bot lane.
And this is what we were talking about actually during the break. We are so used to seeing Frank play around their bot lane, especially last split, before they got Wako on the team. Gemini made his home in the bot lane as Violet gets chunked out. Is actually alone here, but considering Gemini has recalled, this shouldn't amount to all that much.
Oh, I like what Bliss are doing here, sending Aladoric up to that top side, playing some mental games. If they are able to tilt Yi Zhang, we've seen that he does struggle to come back to the mid lane. Harry, oh my god, it's very close, but he does survive. He loses flash. He's going to have to teleport back to this lane. Pretender should be able to get this wave in. And Pretender, that is getting a slight advantage here. But yeah, Aladoric makes his way to top lane. He does not have flash. Yi Zhang does. He gets that slow with that electric harpoon, and Gemini's on the way. Stun comes through, though. Aladoric with that ignite. But here comes Gemini. This could be a problem. Bramble Smash is really good. Gets Aladoric off of Yi Zhang, and with that overheat, but he's not in the right position. The Flame Spitter in the wrong direction, but it's Gemini who's just solo killing, and the burn will get first blood for Yi Zhang. Flash forward, and Aladoric nowhere to go. The shield comes through, trying to trade one back, won't be able to do so. And it's Frank with the early lead.
Oh, what a disaster for Team Bliss. This is the consequences of not playing with your support and jungle together. Kevi is down here protecting Violet. And Aladoric probably missing his flash there. Would have felt a lot better to have it. I think when they made that play, Biopanther did not have E. up on the Ornn to knock up the Rumble. I thought he was dead for sure on the Rumble. As yeah, we can't see the Ornn cooldowns, but he must have already used his charge on this Ornn. Otherwise, once this stun lands, I think he has an opportunity to knock up this Rumble here. Ends up not committing it, and it looks like they're just not on the same page, really. Eldork trying to go forward, Biopanther trying to get out, and they are severely punished. This is an insane start for Jiang on the Rumble. Snipes that kill with the Harpoon, has the wave coming back to him too. Gemini commits the flash here to get the... oh, doesn't get the double kill onto his Rumble, but still feeling...
back to life, lightning crash, and Kyrung's in trouble here. I wonder what occurred, but a lot of members around this mid lane. Ultimately, it is going to cost Kyrung's flash, but it shouldn't be too detrimental for at least the time being, as, you know, Eldork does also not have his flash available to himself.
Yeah, you would have really rather got this Corki's flash to maybe do something with this Diana 6, and Frank are grouping for this. So maybe just letting it go. Yeah, Gemini's heading back towards the bot side.
I would like to see some Dragon priority out of Frank Esports. They haven't done it at all so far in this playoffs. Yeah. They're ahead now. Their bot lane's doing well. Wako, even on CS, there's no flash, no ultimate for Harry in this mid lane.
Yeah, Frank on their way to maybe picking up their second Dragon pre-15 minutes of the entire playoff so far.
What an insane stat. Especially considering they were 3k gold up at 14 minutes against Team Bliss.
Yeah, they
ahead of this.
Average 3.5k gold ahead. And yeah, they only pick up their second Dragon pre-15, and I think it's because Gemini has decided to put his focus on the bot lane. Still, fortunately, managed to just run top and pick up a double kill. Did this Maokai, so gonna lose maybe some of his top camps to this Diana, who is being pinged out now. But you're not too concerned about that as the Maokai.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Not in a rush to get your Leandri. Sometimes we find Gemini solo AP on these Maokais, but...
he's going for tank stats this game with the Kindle Gem, so...
Yeah, he's got a Rumble on his team. Kibby not interested in diving top. I think this Rumble is even more accelerated than we expected. Frank's bot lane with all the tempo down here too.
One thing we didn't touch on, and I really hope, is that... Oh, hold up. Ornhorn coming through. Yijiang, he's just going to be dead. That's the stun. That's a knock-up. That's another knock-up and another knock-up. And Equalizer misses the wave. And he will be taken out, although he lived for an extremely long time.
Yeah, the wave is just not there in time for him to even kill it. He's anticipating the wave coming in as Frank's bot lane, seeing the enemy jungler top, want to get aggressive here. Not going to land much of this poke. And actually get a little BM thumbs up from Violet.
Yeah, I mean, Jiang just being a bit too far up as Wako hit there. He's going to miss that true shot barrage. Very, very low now as Wako Cleanse comes through, and Violet likewise on the other side. But there comes the Killer Instinct, the flash away, and it's just another 2v2 kill. Team Bliss, they're turning it around. Kyrung now trying to run away. He's getting stunned up, and Violet is just free hitting the passive proc and the double kill to Violet.
Yeah, and the game is now just completely back in Team Bliss's hands. They win top side. They're winning strong side and weak side now as Team Bliss's bot lane completely outplay that 2v2. If that's not a tilt E forward by the Ezreal, I do not know what is. And they whiff the Ezreal ulti and the Rel Q in that fight. As you're going to see here, Wako, you kind of get what he's going for. He's not too scared of being engaged on, has cleanse, but Violet plays this immaculately. Dodges out of the Q from Kaiwing on the Rel too, and once Wako gets stunned up again, Violet flashes the Rel W, maybe thinking there's follow-up coming, but no one's even here to help Frank when they're playing this aggressively in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's just as clean as can be. Double kill there for Violet, and while he was obviously behind just before, now he finds himself in a fantastic position.
Yeah, and I mean, a little bit of disbelief, I think. Not that much of a celebration out of the Team Bliss coaching staff. Just because you never expect that to happen. Just such a clean kill, and they were down CS in the bot lane. 2 kills on this Kai'Sa now feels amazing. Swaps up to top lane though, and that's going to give Wako a lot of plates down here.
Yeah, we'll see if Team Bliss can navigate this lane swap, but I think this is just favoring.
Yeah, this is horrible.
Frank. I mean, it's going to lead to Void Grubs, but we've seen Void Grubs have next to no impact through the duration of this series.
Yeah, dragons matter more and plates matter a lot more. It's kind of the point of the Void Grubs is to get these towers and dragons.
Kiwi down here. I have to be a little bit worried. Definitely shouldn't be this side of the map that he's playing towards, but ultimately, I think so far this lane swap has favored Frank.
Yeah, heavily favored Frank. Ornn just couldn't even walk up to the wave while Rumble just sat there and happily farmed. This is an Ornn with a lot of magic resist built, having to lane against this Ezreal, and Wako would love this 1v1 for a while. He's a lot weaker than the Kai'Sa.
What I was going to say is I really hope we don't get an AP build out of Violet. Because there is just so much magic damage. Even the Zeri doing quite a lot, and then Ornn, as well as Diana, as well as Leona.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if I've seen any other Kai'Sa build.
Yeah, that is the concern.
As Team Bliss are posturing around the grubs now. But Wako might just take a full tower bot, and you will take that every day of the week if you're Team Bliss. They do have TPs to get down here.
Yeah, and this does allow as well, if Frank choose to do so, set up for this dragon. Set up for their second dragon, the air dragon that will be spawning in 1 minute's time. It's pretty hard to then get into the pit. You know, if you've got the Maokai set up, you've got the Ezreal set up, a lot of damage can come at you as you're just trying to even get into the river. But that being said, Gemini, he is up on that top side. He's doing his Gromp, and there isn't going to be any setup.
Yeah, and Team Bliss have yet to, in this entire tournament, get the first tower, and I don't think they will this game, as a stiff breeze will blow over this bot lane tower.
Yeah, Marco choosing not to recall would suggest he hasn't quite finished his Trinity Force.
They are recalling the Kai'Sa. Maybe Violet can get down here in time to cover for his Ornn and actually save this tower for a bit.
Recall is coming through there for Kaiwing, but yeah, Wako still just hovering at his tower.
Yeah, too scared to walk up still. So much control in the river for the side of Team Bliss.
Ooh, and a really nice Abyssal Mask pickup here by Biopanther. Extremely cheap item. It's going to synergize well with actually every single champ on his team.
Yeah, I love that. Nice pickup. It's a very cheap item. Has been buffed. Is Team Bliss going to be starting up the dragon now?
Yeah. Gemini, though, he's in the area. It looks like Frank are wanting to contest this. They're not wanting to just give this over. Harry in the mid lane, though, he has to be careful. Kaiwing threatening the Q. Going to try and force out that flash. You know, oftentimes you just immediately flash as soon as you see.
They have TP on Rumble and Maokai ulti if they do want to fight this, but decide not to. I think Wako is sitting on a lot of gold on this Ezreal.
Yeah, and it's Cloud Dragon 1-1 apiece now.
Oh, and of course for Game 3 it's going to be a Hextech Soul.
Oh, it had to be. I think it was last time too.
Perfect. History seems to be repeating itself.
The script writers could have tried a little harder. Wako, though, gets a really nice E away, and LOL-APAC now. He's in a horrendous position. Kevy trying to save the day, but may have just entered it away. He's stunned up. Wako's going to be able to get a double, and Violet's going to lose both his sums. The sins of Team Bliss lead Frank way back into this game.
Yeah, and then similarly to the previous game, LOL-APAC just way overextends onto an Ezreal with Flash and Cleanse available. Wako must feel amazing about this. He's probably sitting under his tower with 1,500 gold, gets spoon-fed 2 kills, and now picks up first tower with plates still up. Yeah, Wako's completely back in this game. Probably undeserved based on how this laning phase was played by the Frank bot lane, but now he's in a position to maybe carry this game. Gemini, right place, right time.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as that sapling's triggered, we have to call this off, but Kevy just overcommitting for a second, and Gemini just phase rush, gets himself out, and I mean, this is all she wrote.
Yeah, and what's insane about this play too is as LOL-APAC flash ease in on Leona, Violet on Kai'Sa uses his Q on the wave. So that could not have been communicated as a play or planned out at all. They had Kevy coming, but yeah, just strange from Team Bliss. They've started up the Rift Herald now, though. Yeah,
no Maokai ult means it probably should be theirs to collect, but Wako's here, and he should be very, very scary as well as this Rumble. Ornn comes through, lands on a Kaiwing. It does get Wako on the back end of that Arcane Shift, but no one's going to be able to be there to follow up, and that's a massive teamfight ultimate now that is noticeably missing from the side of Team Bliss, and with that, River Control conceded back over to Frank as they do have their ultimates coming off cooldown in the very, very near future.
Yeah, and I think if you're Team Bliss, you give up this Rift Herald now. You've got no Ornn ulti. Get this Ornn into the spot lane and just start getting XP on this guy. It is a win condition just getting these Ornn items. You have very strong late game carries in the Zeri and the Kai'Sa. Even the Diana is going to be a monster late game as solo AP.
Yeah, solo AP with an asterisk. As Patina going aggressive, but All Nature's Grasp. Hayri, he doesn't have... Okay, he does have to have flash. I was going to say he doesn't have cleanse, but he'll just flash on out, and that's a massive cooldown now that's going to be noticeably missing again. Bot side, Jung using that equalizer, not feeling like he's going to need it in the near future.
Yeah, it doesn't land all that much damage onto Bio, but isn't going to be sweating too much. No objectives up soon.
Okay, I mean, the next objective, going to be this Hextech Dragon. It'll be the second of the game for either team, and I think if you're Bliss, you can fight unless these two items come through for Corki and the Ezreal.
Yeah, we talked about this mid-game spike at the start of the game for Frank, and they're on a great pace to pick these items up. Things have returned to normalcy as Frank find themselves at 15 minutes up gold, as has just been the trend in this series, about 3k gold, 3.5 the average. Last game being an anomaly where Bliss actually found themselves ahead gold. Violet getting demolished under his turret here.
Ooh, does narrowly escape.
Yeah, picks
another
up
Mystic
CS.
shot.
And this is
we have to be
maybe
careful.
going to get collapsed on.
Yeah, okay, Gemini's here with the sapling. Should be able to slow people up, and they're going to be fine. There's no real way to get through this Maokai. Although Aladoric have to be a little careful. I mean, Pretender will have a lot of damage, admittedly not as much as after he could complete this Mirror Mana, but...
Yeah, Zeri should definitely be stronger at this point. But one recall for Wako and Pretender, and these champions are impossible to teamfight.
I do just worry about the damage profile from Team Bliss. Because ultimately, the only tank stats that this Maokai ever needs to really consider is health and magic resist. And he's already got a bit of armor through that locket. The shield as well is going to help him with the effective HP, but... You know, this Zeri will do 80 damage, but not as much as, you know, the other traditional 80 carries. And then Kai'Sa seemingly is going for a Gwynsu's now, which would lead to believe a Nash's is coming next.
I still think this... I think this Maokai still just drops quickly. We will see how tanky he can get on this Maokai in this game. As Frank are really insisting on this top tower, even rotating Wako up here.
Yeah, nothing on the other side of the map, at least for 20 seconds, but... 20 seconds isn't a whole lot of time, as, yeah, I mean, they're looking, I guess, just to trade the Dragon for this top tower, but I think I'd take that trade if I was Team Bliss.
Yeah, and I think it's just Frank being intelligent around these spikes. It would be horrible to go for this Dragon fight while you've got your carries sitting on tiers right now. Instead, just grab a turret, give them the Dragon, and for the next fight, you'll be strong, though. I think Pretender can recall and TP here if they do want to fight.
No, Wako definitely does not have his Mirror Mana available. Nature's Graph is, but this Dragon is just going to go down. Yeah, absolutely, it's gone. In the meanwhile, though, it's actually, it's Frank kind of out-macroing. They get that mid lane tower. They have both 80 carries here and another Rift Shield charge to come. No one to protect. Biopanther getting there very soon, but that's just 2 towers. Actually, 3 if you include top. 4, just the Dragon equalizes. Fantastic. They're going to lock down Aladoric, and that's a very, very dead Leona. Now, Ornhorn is coming through, but it's not going to be able to connect onto that much. It flashes away, and Gemini finds his way here onto Hayri. There is no flash on the Siri, but the lightning crash comes down. The Magnet Storm's fantastic. It's a 1-for-1 as Pretender. He's stuck beside an Ornn with Hayri looking at him, but he does have flash available. The slow's coming through, and Wako nailing these Mystic shots. It's going to be another trade won by Frank. They picked up 3 towers and 2 kills for just the 1 death and a Dragon.
Yeah, complete out macro by Frank. The mid wave's just not controlled by Team Bliss. Certainly should have been with how many members Frank had committed to the top side. Bio might just be dead.
Yeah, Biopanther is overextended, and he's just going to go down as well. That's another kill just fed over, and a 5k gold lead to the PCS 4th seed.
Yeah, and here Aladoric is just not recognizing the danger he's in. He cannot walk this direction against a Rumble and a Maokai. The rest of Team Bliss seem to identify this, but Aladoric does not. Gemini here just gets onto... It looks like he's overextending onto this area, honestly. As the rest of his team just have to flash to get away from this Ornn ultimate, and the Diana ulti is then flashed away by Wako. A lot of summoners committed by Frank, but winning a fight before you have these mirror manas completed.
And back to live, and that's just more gold for Pretender. He picks himself up and in a tower, and you're seeing the damage there. Imagine if Hayri had flash. Imagine if he didn't lose it up with that top play. Could have seen an entirely different fight, but unfortunately he did, and now this gold lead is just ballooning at this stage.
Yeah, he's been playing without his flash for most of this game. Well played by Pretender for this entire game, really matching the Zeri, who was taken as a counterpick into him.
And Wako, I think somewhat inexplicably this game, going for that Bloodthirster third again. Well, of course, you always are going to get some value out of it. I think You don't really need it. There's not that much poke that's reliably going to hit you, and you don't get that much value out of it in these team fights, but alas, it will be his choice.
Eventually the Kai'Sa will have some poke, but that still feels far away for now. As yeah, I don't mind the Bloodthirster. I think we've seen Shojin and Cyrilda's as well as third items, and
yeah.
Bliss are just grouped here.
They are grouped, but there's a lot of teamfight ultimates available here for the side of Frank. Maybe they're trying to force the issue while these flashes are available for their carries, whereas Frank do not have them. But this group, it can be very scary. Kaiwing no flash means he's not going to be able to find one of those massive engages with that crash down and with that magnet storm that he often does.
Yeah, and it is so strange to be A-ramming here with a level 12 Ornn. He's about to start printing these items. I think he starts printing them at level 13, so get Bio in a side lane. Look at that bot wave he can catch.
Yeah, Yi Jiang pushing that one out, and now will be able to come and join his team. Make this a 4v5 instead in the side of Frank Esports' favor.
Yep, they do see the Ornn in the bot lane now, Frank, so they are emboldened to walk into the enemy jungle.
I mean, it's so hard for Team Bliss to get back anything right. No one except for BioPanther can really withstand damage if this Nature's Grass comes out.
Aladoric flashed in mid.
Flash mid, but Yi Jiang doesn't get caught. Tail comes in Nature's Grass. This is... I mean, it's going to be fine, actually. No one's here, but the Equalizer coming out, actually. And on the top side, we're just taking another tower. Everything is going wrong. The entire bridge is collapsing here for Team Bliss as they struggle to try and find anything.
Yeah, we're going to see what happened. It was just a... Oh, my goodness. Jiang puts his dancing shoes on, dodges the Solar Flare and the Zenith Blade out of the Leona. You see Jiang kind of breathe a sigh of relief as he finishes his recall there. Knows he could have been caught in the mid lane, and we've seen Team Bliss in this series just get one kill and completely turn these games around with these Baron forces. Miramana's now completed for both of these carries. Frank are monstrously strong.
Yeah, and I think this game, I mean, it's so hard, right? Because Yi Jiang is just sitting in the side lane, Pretender's just sitting in the side lane, and BioPanther really the only one that can match them, because if Hayri's not there, he is such a significant part of the damage profile here for Team Bliss that it feels just like Frank can do whatever they want as soon as Hayri's not around. And I mean, you're kind of seeing it here, constant mid-pressure. This dragon's going to be spawning in 25 seconds. There's not a ridiculous amount of towers to take for Frank, so they will be, with Prio, looking for that objective.
Yeah, I think you're dreaming if you take this fight, if you're Team Bliss. You want just to buy time for your Ornn to get a couple more levels and start upgrading these carry items.
Yeah, I mean, 3 items now on Pretender. The most items here on the Rift. Just give over this dragon. It's only the second of the game.
Yeah, and Team Bliss this whole game have been just punished for over-grouping. They need to just manage these side waves a lot better.
Okay, Pretender just left to solo out the dragon while the rest of Frank guard this Baron, this top side of the map. Team Bliss are going to start it. They Violet, they're hitting it. Kevy gets on it. And now Aladoric, he's the only thing that stands between a potential Baron going down. Now Gemini's going to be able to spot this out, but they don't know. They have no idea. They're going to find their way over there now. True Shot Barrage is going to come down to steal. Flash in, and they're stolen again. That's the 3rd time that Gemini's able to do it. And all the AoE comes down. It's a 1 for 2. Wako arrives to the fight. Hayri has to jump away. A 2 for 2 as BioPanther makes his way into that pit. He is able to take down Kaiwing, but it's just these carries, Frank Esports and Gemini, who get it done.
He does it again. He does it every time. It feels like Gemini, you cannot give him a chance to get into this pit. He will flash and he will steal, whether it was on the Rel jungle last split or the Maokai jungle this split. And I think they do suspect that this is happening on the side of Frank. Wako even just ults because they know Team Bliss have to be planning something. No one is in these lanes.
BioPanther tries to stop it. He's too late, and it's just Gemini once again. The AoE all comes through. It's a nice chunk of damage Kevy and Hayri are doing.
Yeah, they're free hitting, and Pretender's not even here for most of this fight, but Frank are so strong with these spikes, and the Baron doing plenty of damage to Team Bliss before the fight even starts too. Just means it's a little too easy. Jiang, monster in that fight.
3 times now. 3 times exactly against Team Bliss has Gemini stolen a Baron in this PCS playoffs. That is an insane stat to have, and Gemini, I mean, I commend you. The ability to steal so consistently, it's not easy, but he gets it done. He makes it look like it should be happening.
Yeah, and you understand why he plays for the steal so often. Last game, kind of looking silly playing for that steal on the Zyra, but this time around, punishes Team Bliss for flipping the Baron.
Xenoblade will go wide as Valkyrie going to be used there. These waves are not synced, so Team Bliss do have a fair amount of chance to try and defend here, to send all the people, every single member of your team to that side lane. The bot lane crashes and the mid lane's not synced, so it will just be okay to send them back to the mid lane. But in saying that, Nature's Gas comes out. This ultimate, should I say, does almost always secure yourself a tower, but in this case it does not. Now we're missing this Maokai ultimate. Team Bliss, they're mounting a defense, and the defense is looking good so far. Wako hitting this mid tower.
Yeah, can't quite get his W proc on the mid tower, so Frank playing conservatively, but normally with these Barons, you clean up the tier 2s you couldn't earlier, but Frank have played the map so much better that they've already taken every outer turret, and there's nothing to do but try siege the space. I think the siege might just be over without Maokai ulti, though. Yeah,
Frank Esports, it's so weird. They just can't seem to work out. They need to sync the waves, right? As soon as this bot lane gets there, they just completely nuke it. And now the mid lane comes in. It looks like we might be able to get it on this wave. One auto attack from Marco will do it. There it comes as BioPanther narrowly escaping out there. Nature's Grasp very close to being back up. They managed to get themselves at least the mid lane inhibitor, as Super Minions will be spawning in that lane now. They're trying to look towards this bot lane now, perhaps, as they do run out of the Baron.
Yeah, and I think if you're Team Bliss, you view saving the spot inhib and only losing the one inhib as a big win here. This couldn't be a more perfectly timed Baron with the spikes on these carries from Frank.
Yeah, with no Baron now, these waves are just getting nuked out by that Zerion. So with that, Frank should be able to look for the recall. I suggest we're going to be able to see some more items come through, especially on Yi Zhang. Maybe have that Zhonya's ready.
Yeah, massive gold injections from winning those fights and grabbing the Baron. I didn't quite see how much the Baron power play was. Kevi has the Zhonya's finish now, is working on the Riftmaker. I still disagree with this Diana build, but this game, it feels less like he's solo AP with the Kai'Sa on his team.
3 items for Wako, 3.5 for Pretender, and it's Hayri alone on the side of Team Bliss, sitting at that 3-item spike. Violet very, very close to it.
Yeah, upgrade for Violet.
Yeah, it does have that Guinzu's upgraded fully with that ornament. But it's just going to be so hard. There's so much damage. Pretender teleporting down to that bot side as we're looking aggressively in the mid lane, perhaps, for Team Bliss. Flash available for Aladoric. Every summoner in the game outside of Kaiwing's Flash will be available.
Yeah, and
it's available now.
Frank, they have the inside track on the spot lane tower. Team Bliss are very out of position.
Yeah,
Can Frank actually just hit this?
Kevi just sitting up in that top wave. It's going to take him a while to get here. Nature's Gas going to come through once again. We don't have our Diana. We can't stand up, and that is another inhib tower going down. The flash forward, though. We land the start. We land everything. Ornhorn coming through. Is going to land onto Pretender, but Kaiwing and Gemini are tanking up. Wako finds one. Down will go at least the Diana. Kevi getting here late. Hayri getting low. So many low health bars. Double kill. E forward. It's going to be a kill for Jung. And Hayri, he's trying to guide. He's trying to kill out Wako, but the arcane shift, the mystic shot, and all that survives for Team Bliss is BioPanther. But unfortunately for the LCO, it will be Frank taking game number 3 and getting to our best of 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they'll quite kill BioPanther despite their best efforts, but they will pick up the Nexus. Shaky game from Frank, and it wasn't clean. It certainly wasn't clean, especially in the early game, but they end up just outplaying Team Bliss in the macro, and this time around it's Frank who just keep their cool. They shove these lanes, they control the map much better than Bliss do, and they don't overly focus on these dragons like Bliss did. It was just that one play, it felt like, where they picked up so many towers for that dragon.
Yeah, that and the bot lane dive, right? That really, really botched bot lane dive. We'd be way overcommitted onto an Ezreal with both sums.
Yeah.
Found 2 people under a tower. Kevi even, I think, you know, you can admit Aladoric's dead. Let's just give him over. But Kevi then re-engaging, gets Maokai ulted, gives over a second kill to Wako, who got 2v2 killed in that bot lane. It was Aladoric and Violet once again performing better in their isolated 2v2.
All 3 games.
Yeah, all 3 games. They were doing better. They were winning that lane. And unfortunately, it was just a few too many mistakes here from the side of Team Bliss that led to their downfall. And with that, unfortunately, we have to bid them a farewell.
Yeah, and thank God we got a decent game out of Jung. He didn't do anything heroic that game, except maybe in the Baron fight where he put out about 5,000 damage, really shut down Bliss's Baron attempt, along with Gemini, who straight up just stole it.
Yeah, I think Gemini has to be the MVP this game. I think he has to be.
Yeah, he was in the right place, right time, including top lane for the bot lane dive too. He's just everywhere.
Yep, he was absolutely everywhere. And this is what we've said so consistently about Frank Esports, right? Is that, yes, it's an AP jungle meta. We love our AP junglers. Let's get a K. Gemini is so good at playing these tanks, these engaged roles, where he's able to just throw out a Maokai ult at the right time, at the right angle, and it always looks so good. Their team looks so much more cohesive when he is just on one of these facilitatory champs. It's not saying that he's bad at the AP carries, because oftentimes he seems like the only hope in those games. It just seems like Frank Esports as a team operates so much better when it's like one less person on the team that wants resources. Those resources go to Wako, and by God, we just press R and go forward. Everything looks much better.
Yeah, and we